What's up, guys? Tim Trevathan with Tim Trevathan Homes in Atlanta, Georgia, except somewhere behind me is a different location. This is New York City's Koreatown. You may have seen me do some videos about the Koreatown here versus LA and versus Atlanta. Very different here compared to Atlanta. Atlanta's not as walkable. There's just one main street right here with all of the Korean restaurants, stores, H-Mart, and so forth. Opposed to Atlanta, you have to have a car wherever you go. It's very car dependent. It's really cool because this is my first time to walk through here. Not first time in New York City, but first time to walk through here. And it's very densely packed. So it's easy for the convenience factor. Definitely love the accessibility of everything you can find here. But being from Atlanta, you'll see that the Koreatown is very different. Check out the other videos that I've done. You'll see the differences. And we've got a lot going on in Atlanta, guys. If you ever thought about moving to Atlanta, it's a great place for family life, for young professionals, as well as those that are looking for good schools, safety, plenty of things to do, parks, recreation, good restaurants too. Some of the best food we've ever had in Atlanta. The panchan, the side dishes, the traditional food, everything. So check it out. But we're gonna go take a look this way first. See what New York has to offer. Hey guys, here. I had the chance recently to go visit New York City for 6 days. This is my third trip actually, but this time I decided to document a lot more in detail about my trip, particularly with the Koreatown in New York City. Why did I do this? Because living in the midst of the Koreatown here in Atlanta, which I absolutely love living here, I wanted to compare it to the New York City Koreatown. And guess what, guys? I found a lot of interesting observations. One in particular, and that is that I was really left wanting more from the Koreatown in New York City and was surprised at how it was not as big as I thought it would be. And in fact, the Koreatown in Atlanta is a lot bigger in terms of square feet, square miles, the different types of restaurants and businesses, and just the sheer amount that is available to your picking in Atlanta compared to New York City. Of course, we know New York City is the biggest city in America, and there's so much going on, and there's a massive number of things to do there, the epicenter of world commerce and the biggest melting pot in the country. But guess what? If you're looking for a cheaper, more affordable area and better availability of many top ranking schools and a great place to raise a family, well guys, Koreatown in Atlanta may be the place for you. And if you haven't seen my other videos, be sure to check them out if this is your first time, because I've been covering this. This is not any secret, as my channel covers a lot in terms of just the pros and cons of different areas, but also just the coverage of Koreatown itself. But before we go into Atlanta Koreatown and talk about how great it is, let's go ahead and dive into my trip that I had in New York City. So after doing a little research about where I could find the Koreatown in New York City, I decided to take that route that I researched, which basically a good landmark is knowing where the Macy's shopping mall is, which is the biggest Macy's apparently in the world. And once you pass it, you get onto West 32nd Street. That basically turns into Korea Way. That's the street name. And that's how you know that you've reached the Koreatown in New York City. One of the shocking disappointments about it is the size. Basically, it's one street, and when you go from one end to the other, you can practically reach the end within about a 5-minute walk. Yes, it does resemble Korea in the sense that they have Korean businesses that are on the second and third floor where you can utilize the staircases to get there, and that is what makes you feel like you're in Korea. But again, the problem is there's only one street. Now, if you're asking Tim, was it the only place that you could find kind of a Koreatown vibe other than this part being advertised as the official Koreatown? Well, yes, it's in Flushing, located in Queens. That would probably be the other area where you can actually see an actual Koreatown and have more of a suburbia type vibe that resembles that of Atlanta, although it's still, we have a much more suburban type atmosphere in Atlanta. But if you want to come close to that, then Flushing would be the area. And you can see some of these videos where I actually toured the area with a couple friends. We drove through there at night and we could see all that was going on. And most of what you can see in Flushing is on that street Bayside. That's where the predominant amount of Korean businesses and restaurants that you can find is located at. And I even walked through during the day to get a glimpse of the different businesses, whether it was a church or a dry cleaner or a restaurant. You could find pretty much everything, but it just seemed to be in such short supply versus what I could find in Atlanta. There is every kind of business you can imagine in Atlanta, where if you don't know any English and you move straight to Duluth, Georgia from the motherland in South Korea, you would be able to adapt quite well because of the fact that it has everything. Even I went and attended a bowling league on Friday nights that was strictly for Koreans, and they spoke in Korean. I was on a team with this ajashi, this older man who his English was really not that good, but he has been living in Duluth, Georgia for over 25 years. And he's got two one middle school, one high school teenage kids that are going to school, and they've immersed their lives here in America. And that's the kind of thing you can find oftentimes here in Atlanta, but also plenty of 1.5 generation Koreans, where there's a lot that have moved and immigrated from Korea that did indeed establish themselves and learn the language. And then of course the 2.0 generation like me, who they've been born and raised in America, but they are very much familiar with the Korean culture because of the area that they live has a huge Korean American subculture established, like Atlanta. And really it's something that I couldn't really feel that in New York City. And again, everybody's different, but as far as my preference, if I wanted to call a place home, especially to raise a family, Atlanta, Georgia is the place to be. New York City was a very big hustle and bustle area, which is not necessarily a down point. In fact, I lived in Seoul, South Korea for 5 years, so I know that hustle and bustle life, and I actually like the fast-paced lifestyle myself. But when it comes to raising a family, I just prefer Atlanta a lot more. Now, the food, however, in New York, I thought was pretty good. Some of the restaurants, and maybe I was just very lucky to pick the good ones, but the restaurants I went to, they were better than the ones that I've had in Atlanta. Not all of them, of course, but some of them. In particular, they offered a lot of banchan, a lot of side dishes, high quality, good amount. Of course, you could ask for more if you've eaten it. They give you free refills, and it was just tremendously good food. And the price was actually not that big of a difference in terms of proportionate. So we were paying more, yes, in New York, but they give you a lot more food as a result. That part I liked. Anyway, I want to tell you more about my experience firsthand here as I give my synopsis of the Koreatown in New York City. Korea way. So we're here, Broadway, right down the street, Macy's, right over there. The easy way to find Koreatown in New York City is you got Broadway, Korea Way, and then you got Macy's over there. West 32nd Street goes into Korea Way, so you can't lose track. Over there, they got some cool, looks like some Squid Game advertisement. It's like an experience. You can buy tickets and check it out. I don't know. It might be something worth checking out. And yeah, man, it's exciting. All right, we are at what is that, Big House? Anyway, this is the restaurant we're here in New York City's Koreatown. You can see it's a packed restaurant. Pretty big. We're here about 12:30, so it's expected. It's on a Sunday, so you're going to see a lot of people. And the food is quite amazing. They have a huge menu, plenty to choose from. I just got the bibimbap, which we will be, along with the sundubu shige. So can't wait to try it and see how it compares to Atlanta's. Definitely the prices are a lot more here, and I'm sure the food and the taste is going to be exceptionally well. So
Let's dive in.
Okay, instant review of the restaurant here in Koreatown of New York City. We were right here at the Kunji.
Try authentic Korean food since 2002.
I would say it was pretty good. The quality of food was great. The side dishes were high quality, tasty, had a lot of flavor. The bibimbap, the mixture of rice and vegetables with the bulgogi, was on point. They had a good amount of meat in there, as well as the sundubu had good flavor, right amount of spice. The price came out to about $28 plus tax and tip. But honestly, compared to Atlanta, it's about the same. And yet they gave an amount that was a little bit bigger. Of course, this is comparing one restaurant to everything that I've had in Atlanta. Who knows what else New York City's Koreatown has to offer, but at least that will give you a little bit of perspective of what you can expect here versus the food in Atlanta. And if you're looking to make a move to Atlanta, I would love to be your real estate agent to help you. I help people move from all over the country and even outside the country. They have come directly from Korea even and have reached out to me, and I help them make the move to Metro Atlanta and call this place home. Again, the Koreatown here is vibrant, huge, big, with plenty of diversity and options for families and young professionals. Whether it's in Duluth or Suwanee or Johns Creek or many other cities nearby, you can find a place to call home.